Good morning, everyone, and happy 7th day of Chanukah. The word Chanukah is also rooted in the word Chinuch. Chinuch means education. One of the major things of Chanukah is dedication of the temple. But just like we dedicated the temple, we have to dedicate our children to serve God. And the best way to dedicate your children is through proper Jewish education. And if you want the candles to continue burning in your life and in your children's life, you have to raise them up with a proper Jewish education. So Chanukah, we focus on education. I just want to share 3 lessons from the menorah about proper Jewish education. The first one is, someone once said that education is not the filling of a pail, it's the kindling of a flame. Meaning, education is not like filling up a kid with knowledge. That's just one part of education. It's the kindling of a flame, meaning you have to inspire the child that the flame should burn on its own. So it's not just feeding them knowledge and information, it's inspiring their soul to burn brightly on their own. And that's the whole goal of Jewish education, not to give the child Jewish content and understanding, but beyond that, to ignite their passion and their love for Judaism so they should continue learning on their own accord for the rest of their life, even beyond what you taught them. And then that flame will kindle the next generation. So as someone said, Yiddishkeit can't only be taught, it has to be caught. So it's like when you kindle a flame, the flame has to catch. Sometimes the flame doesn't catch. You have to make sure your children's flames are catching. That's the first lesson of a candle. The second lesson of a candle has to do with the shamash. You know, the word shamash means servant. So the shamash is the servant candle. And it's interesting, in every menorah, the shamash is always the tallest candle, the highest candle. And this is the second message of education, that we have to teach our children, and ourselves of course as well, that by serving others you become elevated. That the ultimate goal of life is to be of service of others. And there's a story about Lubavitcher Rebbe. A girl once came to Lubavitcher Rebbe in Yechidus and said she's struggling with her personality. She's not happy with herself. She feels she's a selfish person. And it was bothering her, and she was seeing a therapist how to deal with her selfishness and eliminate that negative trait. And the Rebbe said that this is what, she was a girl in a seminary. And the Rebbe said, this is what you should do. Every night when you come down to the dinner table in the dormitory, don't take food for yourself. First bring food to the table for the other girls. After you brought things for everyone else, then go get your own food. In other words, the simplest way to change your selfishness is by becoming a servant of others. When you lose yourself, you often find yourself when you lose yourself in the service of others. So to be a shamash is the noblest thing to be. You're elevated by the fact that you shouldn't look that people should serve you in life. You should see, how can I be of service to others? That is the goal. And finally, the third lesson, and that is that when you light a candle, it radiates warmth and it radiates light. And when you teach a Jewish child Torah, they have to feel the way the light of the Torah is literally making them feel warm inside. It's giving them this warm feeling of love, of joy, and it's elevating them like a flame that goes higher, and it makes their lives brighter and shinier. In other words, it shouldn't be a Judaism and a Jewish education that demeans them or oppresses them in some way. But on the contrary, they should feel they're becoming expanded. And then they'll gravitate towards it because they'll see the light and the joy that it brings into their life. And I just want to share, in conclusion, a story that I saw Rabbi Abraham Twersky tell on a video. Rabbi Abraham Twersky wrote maybe 50 books on Jewish subjects. He's a rabbi, a doctor, a psychologist. And he told a story recently with his long white beard. He's a man in his 80s. And he tells the following memory that he has. His father was a great rabbi as well. And he says that he once had a guest in his house on Rosh Hashanah. And he was, as a kid, a good chess player. And on Rosh Hashanah afternoon, the guest said to him, I hear you play chess. Would you like to play a game of chess? So he said to the guest, it's Rosh Hashanah. So the guest said, there's nothing wrong. You're allowed to play chess on Rosh Hashanah. So he played the game. He played one game. He beat the guest once. There was a grown man in his house. He played him in the second game. He beat him twice. That afternoon he went to shul, and B'Chumin Chamarev, his father was in the study, and the shamash, the gabbai in the shul, says to Abraham Twersky, as a little kid, he's 7 years old, your father is calling you, he wants to see you in his study. He says he comes into his father's study, his father was sitting there with a big book, learning. He said he waited to be recognized, the old and fashioned derech eretz for a father, he stood there waiting. nervous. He says his father took his time, he kept him waiting. Then finally he looked up and he said, Avremela, were you playing chess on Rosh Hashanah? Just a question. Avremela says he was so nervous, He said, yeah, Tati, but the guest said it's permissible. You're allowed to play chess on Rosh Hashanah. His father looked back down in the book, didn't say a word, and then he looked up with a smile and a twinkle in his eye and he said, did you beat him? He says, yeah, I beat him twice. He said, okay, geh gesundheit. He said, my father didn't want me to walk out of the room feeling bad about myself. So he got the message across to me that, yeah, legally you're allowed to play chess, but that's not the best thing to do on Rosh Hashanah. But then before I left, he said, did you win? Okay, geh gesundheit. And that's the idea, that it has to be with love, it has to be with kindness. And when you do it in that way, then the children will be ignited and inspired and carry the flame of Yiddishkeit.